Increase my faith. Yeah, that's what we want, isn't it? We want it. We want it. We want it. Who wouldn't want more, right? Who wouldn't want to enrich their lives and become bigger and better in their faith? I mean, after all that's going on. There's a story of a young Jedi, Luke Skywalker, who figures he has this gift, and he's been trained a bit by Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he wants to learn more. And Obi-Wan tells him, you need to go to Yoda, who trained me to some Dagobah system. So he flies out there. He meets Yoda, this little creature who is a master, has been training Jedi for over 900 years. And so Luke, under his tutelage, is learning. And he sees visions because that's part of the Force. And he sees friends suffering. And he wants to go, and Yoda says, no, you can't help them. Stay, complete your training. I can't. I'm impulsive. I've got to run. He goes off, does his thing, fails miserably, comes back to Yoda to complete his training because he promised. And then he finds Yoda in his hutch, and Yoda is dying. What I can't figure out is he lived 900 years. He can't live for another 2 weeks. Come on, Yoda. Anyways, that wouldn't help the story any. And Luke says to Yoda, but you need to complete my training. And Yoda says, how was it? You have all you have learned do you require? You've learned all that you require. Okay, so in terms of the Force, Luke has all he needs. But he still feels incomplete. He needs more. Because Darth Vader is there. Darth Vader is like unstoppable and strong in the Force like no one has ever seen. But the dark side, the evil side. And Luke finds out that Darth Vader is his father. How much more can we take? So, Luke goes back, and through a series of events, he gets captured. He lets himself get captured by Darth Vader. And Darth Vader brings him to the Emperor, Darth Vader's boss. And there they try to turn him to the dark side, and Luke will have none of it. He's strong in the Force, yes. But what really wins the day has nothing to do with the Force at all. It's not the amount of Force that he had, it was something else. Anybody take a guess? It was his heart. He appealed to Darth Vader, his father's heart. It wasn't that he was trying to overcome the Emperor with his Force, skills with the Force. He was trying to overcome his father's doubt, his father's anxiety, his father's sense of darkness through use of his heart. And he succeeds. It wasn't the Force at all that succeeded, it was his heart. And Darth Vader throws the Emperor down and kills him, and Luke rescues his father. Not physically, but emotionally. He brought him back to the good side of the Force. The disciples are asking for more faith because they have seen what is coming. And any one of us, and all of us, want further training to be able to prepare ourselves for what to come, because we can see what's out there, and it's kind of scary sometimes. Am I enough to handle what's to come? And Jesus tells the disciples, you have faith. If you had even the smallest amount, which you do, you'd be able to move mountains. And take this mulberry, throw it in the sea, and let it grow out there. But like the disciples, like all of us, want further training. They want it now, right? And I know of friends of mine who graduated from college and they wanted to go from entry level to president in a matter of a few months or right away. Well, that isn't going to work because there is a process and there's some learning and experience and training and just there's a way of doing things that makes sense for your benefit, for other people's benefit as well. There is a process. Give us more faith. And as we read further on, especially the Acts of the Spirit, the Acts of the Apostles, they've been learning and they've been training and for years, and their faith is growing. They're doing things they would have never dreamed of when they first took the call from Jesus, pulling in their nets and dropping them, leaving their father in the lurch and going off and following Jesus. From there to where they were, yeah, their faith has been growing, but it hasn't been an easy journey. It hasn't been a short journey. It's been kind of long and sometimes painful, sometimes joyous, but their faith is increasing. And like us, the more we dedicate ourselves to learning and growing in different ways in our spirit and our emotional lives, there's a sense of growth. And yet, I've been told, my friend told me, he's a pastor as well, he said, your faith grows, but then the devil sends the greater, he sends his sergeants, and then his lieutenants, and then his captains, and then his majors, and it gets sometimes harder the more your faith grows. If anybody found out that, you're always in the cusp of saying, I need more, but where you've come from and where you're going, the journey, the faith journey, the growth that you've experienced and will experience, well, sometimes with life's hardest knocks. Help us increase our faith. You have enough. You're doing the best you can with what you have. Right? It's like the poker player sitting around the table. They get their hand. They can discard some cards, get some, but then that's what they're stuck with. They got to play these cards the best that they can. Sometimes it's a winning hand. Sometimes they bluff. But this is what they work with. And they do the best they can. Some of us have genetic predispositions to cancer, to diabetes, to other things. And we do the best we can with what we've been given. We try to eat well, we try to get enough sleep, we try to exercise, we try to do the best we can. We want to go into a different field, so we want further study, so that's what we do. Friends have said, I don't feel like I know enough, so I'm going to go back and learn more. And constantly trying to grow and further yourself, whatever you can do. And at the same moment, you always have had enough to do what you need to do on a really gut level, on a personal level with people. Your skills may be enhanced, but your relationships, your heart, like Luke's heart, is what really comes in through the end of the day. When I first preached, a friend said, preach with your heart. Speak from your heart. You always remember that. When you do funerals and things, you may get things wrong. You may not do a good exegesis of the gospel lesson or whatever, but if you speak with heart and really connect with people on a heart level, some of that stuff they forget, they don't remember, but they remember your heart when you're doing things. And that's not to say that we always can be growing and we can always further and learn, because that's what life is all about. But understand that sometimes growth takes a while, and that we do have enough. God has given us enough to do what we need to do. And so never feel like we're inadequate on a heart level, because we're not. Skills, we can improve. Heart, yeah, it's there. And it's through Jesus talking to his disciples and telling them that they are enough, and that they, like the quilters, don't want recognition for what they do. They're just doing what they do because they love it, and they want to see things happen. And Jesus tells his disciples, be that way. Don't look for medals and trophies, or to be stood up on a pedestal at all. You're doing because you're called to do it, and just go about your business and do because God gives you the gifts to do it. Because God is the one who gives us things that we need. Amen.